Greetings folks, and I hope you're all fine and dandy in collecting land, and welcome back to the channel for another quarter scale action figure unboxing and review. And today it's a blast from the past, not sent from the future, but sent by Neca from the past, 2017 to be precise. It's their take on Arnold Schwarzenegger as the T800 from James Camerons Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Released to coincide with the 3D re-release of the movie. So, usual format folks, box, accessories, figure, and then wrapping the whole thing up with a showcase at the end. But before we dive in, a massive thank you as always to everyone who supported the channel. And please drop a like on this video and help other people find the channel. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you don't miss any of the action figure goodness coming up. And trust me, there's a lot of it. So, box, and it's a big one, as you'd expect with a quarter scale figure, which is why we're down in front of the details. Let's have a close-up look at it. It's the usual packaging we've come to expect from quarter scale Neca figures of around that time, and pretty much continued today in any quarter scale figures that they do. It's this sort of window box thing going on, just a straight cardboard box with the window section on the front with the figure behind it. But we'll have a quick look around it. I'll bring it a little bit closer in the shot so I can reach it, because I'm literally miles away from this thing. What you got in the bottom left-hand corner is that now iconic shot of Arnold Schwarzenegger as the T800 on the back of the bike, wielding the shotgun. It says Terminator 2 Judgment Day 3D in this foil lettering at the bottom. T800 quarter scale action figure. Usual warnings on the top there. Don't piss this figure off or it might be back. Around the sides here, you've got a couple of photos of the figure itself. It says Terminator 3D, Judgment Day at the top, T800 at the bottom. We'll take a quick look at the right-hand side if I can maneuver this thing around. Once again, Terminator 3D on this side here. A repetition of that shot as well that we saw on the front. And around the back, a couple of rather nice HD shots of the figure itself, and a brief summation of the movie there if you don't already know the movie. If you've been living under a rock or on Mars for the past 100 years and you've not heard of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. But that's pretty much it for the box. Not a brand new figure to me, obviously this one. Been in the collection since its release. So if it looks like it's falling forward in the box, that's because I shoved it back in the box for the purposes of this review. But what we'll do next is we will do as we always do. We will go over to the table, have a dive down and have a look at all the accessories that come with your T800 figure. Okay folks, so here we are down on the table with all the accessories that come with your Neca T800 quarter scale figure. No swap out hands with this particular figure. Pretty much what we come to expect from quarter scale figures in Neca. Don't normally do swap out hands, but what you do get is this bandolier. All one piece of sculpted plastic. Very nicely done, I have to admit. There's detailing on here. There's the buckle at the back. This section that folds over is actually stuck down so it doesn't flap around. There's sort of an attempt at stitching and a sort of an attempt at sculpting in a material look to it, the sort of mesh look to it, which is quite nice. And all the way through it, you've got these shells. These gold painted shells. These are non-removable, they're all static. Paint applications are pretty nice on here, as is the detailing, and overall it's quite well done. And they've left one that missing there, which is actually solid plastic there, so you can't sort of swap anything out there, but it just gives it that sort of extra air of authenticity, having one missing when it's over his shoulder. So yeah, solid. And pretty well made, and pretty screen accurate as well. So yeah, that's the bandolier. What else do you get? You get the grenade launcher, and nicely sculpted this is too. Once again, all one piece of sculpted plastic. The handle itself has got some paint washes on there and some texturing on it to give it that wood effect. There's different shades of brown in there and some black washes to pick out the wood grain effect. Looks nice, looks well done. The barrel is painted this gunmetal grey. There's no real attempt at weathering on here, but it still looks pretty effective. There's no cocking action. There's no moving parts on this. There's no working trigger or anything like that. And this sight section here doesn't raise up. But overall, the sculpt's pretty good. The strap itself is attached by these plastic sections at the top and bottom of the gun, and the strap itself, once again, sculpted plastic rather than going for pleather or anything like that. It's simply a piece of plastic that's been painted green with these silver buckles and detail sections on here as well. So overall, yeah, it does the job. Perhaps could do with a bit more weathering, but nice sculpt and pretty nice paint applications. So that's the grenade launcher to go with the grenades. Let's take a look at his handgun. Now, I am trying to educate myself, as regulars to the channel will know about guns. Still a bit of a loss with this one. Not sure what make and model this is, so and there's nothing on there to indicate it. So I'm sure somebody will pop a comment in the comment section below about what type of gun it is. But yeah, the sculpt is okay, and the paint applications are okay. Perhaps not of the same high standard that we come to expect from other figure manufacturers, but you know, we've got to remember that Neca come in at a certain price point here. The sculpt is pretty good. There's some silver paint applications on there, some gunmetal sections on the top, no real attempt at weathering. The paint applications are pretty accurate, if a little messy in places, but yeah, there's a nicely sculpted grip on here. And as with the grenade launcher, there's no moving parts on here. There's no cocking action or removable magazine or anything like that. But it does the job. Pretty decent paint applications and pretty decent sculpt. So yeah, that's the handgun. You also get his sunglasses. All one piece of sculpted plastic. Pretty much on point in the style there, as far as I can tell, and with these two silver lines on the side. So yeah. Pretty much screen accurate, and it does what it says on the tin. It's a pair of plastic sculpted glasses. It's got this nice high gloss sheen to the lenses there, which is also screen accurate. So as with 6 scale figures though, I will always issue my usual warning: be super careful when taking them on and off the figure. You don't want to break these. These are pretty sturdy because they're quarter scale, but yeah, still easily broken. So yeah, be careful when handling. So we'll pop those to one side, and finally the minigun. Now this is absolutely huge, as you'd expect from quarter scale, and really nicely done. This is probably the cherry on the cake of the accessories. Very nicely sculpted. There's this metallic paint applications on here, as you can see. There's different shades of grey. There is some attempt at weathering on this, which is nice to see on the barrels and on the handle. Overall, yes, very nicely done. Looks screen accurate to me. You've got the two handles on here. There's the grip here with the trigger, and the grip here as well. Now, both hands with this figure are gripping hands, so it'll pretty much handle the grenade launcher, the handgun, and this minigun as well, with both the hands that are provided. But yeah, you've got some wires going from the handle here into the gun itself, which are screen accurate. The barrels are nicely done, and then you've got this belt feed of ammunition coming from the side of it. Now, once again, this is a sort of rubberized plastic. It's got a lot of bend to it here. I'll suspect this is more rubber than plastic, but there's a lot of give in there, and you've got these gold sections that go all the way down, which are sculpted and painted really nicely and look screen accurate, and they go into the bag. Now, you'd probably expect this bag to be made out of material, but it's not. This is actually all one piece of sculpted plastic, and it is very heavy. It's got some heft to it. The strap is sculpted plastic with silver detailing on there, the buckles. The bag itself is sort of black, but if the light's catching, it's got a blue hue to it as well. It's almost as if it's been painted blue, and then you've got these black washers in the creases to accentuate the creases and make it look more authentic. And overall, it's nicely done, even if it's very heavy. And it's sculpted in the back here, this indentation in the back, so it'll fit to the figure when it's over his shoulder. So it sits snugly, which is a nice touch from Neca there. But overall, yeah, the sculpt is nice, the paint applications are pretty good, and the screen accuracy is there. So that is the minigun and ammo pack. So that's all the accessories. So without further ado, let's bring out the big guy himself. Let's get him onto the turntable and have an up-close look at him. Okay folks, so here he is. It's Big Arnie himself, the T800 from Terminator 2 Judgment Day, courtesy of Neca in quarter scale, onto a generic quarter scale stand and onto the turntable. Can't give first impressions. Obviously, I've had this figure since it was released. However, not been up close and personal with him for quite some time, and I have to say, I'm still pretty impressed here. I still think there's some very, very good work from Neca in this particular piece. I think it's a solid T800 figure, with one major caveat that we will get to. So we'll do what we always do. We will start at the bottom and work our way up, and take a look at this guy up close. Let's stop him from spinning and get him off the turntable. Big figure, this one, so I'm going to have to manhandle this into shot and manhandle it off this stand as well. I'm going to have to take him all off in one go there, and then remove this waist grabber from him so we can have a close-up look if it wants to come off, which it doesn't. There we go, we've got it off. Now I am some distance away, so I'm going to bring this camera a little bit closer in so we can take a look at the details and get it in the light. And using one hand to hold this figure is not the easiest thing in the world, but we will start with the boots. So these boots, these biker boots, yeah, they're definitely screen accurate there. The paint applications are nice, the sculpt is good. There's no tread on the bottom here, although there are two holes here if you're wanting to use a Neca stand with the pegs in them. The boots themselves are pretty well done. As I say, screen accurate. You've got that buckle across there. They're all one piece of sculpted plastic. The paint applications are nice. As with all of the figure, it's got this high gloss paint application to give it that weathered leather look. It's not consistent all over, which actually helps, I think, with the to give it that sort of contrasted shading to complement the leather look. But yeah, the paint applications are nice. There is some weathering at the end there, and the boots on the whole are pretty well done. Not an awful lot of movement here. They're pegged directly into the legs, so there's not a vast amount of movement going on there, but the joints in the legs actually make up for that. But we will go further up the legs, and once again you've got this this paint application and sculpt to recreate the leather pants, and I think they've got it absolutely spot on. Neca here, slightly tighter around his rather bulky thigh area, and then some slightly more creases as you go further down the leg, but they've sculpted in the zip on the side here. You get about a third of the way up the leg, and that's where you reach the first joint. And if I can do this, I'm going to struggle doing this here on camera. If I can hold this with one hand and hold that section of the leg, you'll see what I mean. There is a twist about halfway down the calf, which sort of compensates for that lack of movement in the foot itself. Moving up, you get another twist at the thigh section there. And this is what we've sort of come to expect from Neca quarter scale figures. Figures like the Crow and so on had this sort of arrangement. Moving up, and we'll try and stand him up here, and I will try and get a little bit closer into shot. I'm having to bend over and reach forward, and it's not the easiest thing in the world, this, to handle. But yeah, that same level of sculpt and paint application continues up there. In the leg area, you've got sculpted in seams around the front and around the back. We'll take a look around the back, and then what you get to as you get to the top here, and I must admit, I think Neca have done a good job here, because obviously you're going to need a slightly softer plastic in the waist area, but what they've done is these are solid plastic, these legs, but when you get to this top of the pants, they're actually a different type of plastic. There's more give in it, but it's been painted to pretty much match. I would say it's slightly off. It's got a slightly more grayer tone than black tone. So, but it doesn't look like he's wearing a pair of shorts, shall we say. It doesn't look like he's in his underwear, but yeah, there is a bit of a contrast there, which is slightly off. So the paint applications could have been slightly better. Works better around the back, and you don't really see the join. Because, as I say, this whole pant section is almost a sleeve that goes around the waist, rather than the top of the legs themselves. But pretty nicely done. There's creases in there, there's black washes to highlight the details in those creases, and then you get up to this belt. The belt is sculpted into the this whole waist sleeve, so to speak. So yeah, silver buckle painted in there. Moving up to the jacket now, I'll try and get him to freestand here in front of the camera. Couldn't resist on putting the bandolier on him and gripping the grenade launcher. But the jacket itself is a hard, but well, once again, I think it's that combination of rubber and plastic, and the sort of thing that that you've seen in the Crow overcoat and stuff like that. Is that malleable plastic that has some give to it. But the detailing on the jacket is really nice. The sculpt is nice. You've got these this hanging belt section, this sculpted in zips with the silver paint application, and you probably already noticed the obligatory bullet holes, which are really nice to see, and they're all over the front of the jacket. I don't know if the camera's catching this, whether the light's catching it, but there's some red paint applications in those bullet holes to simulate blood. Yeah, overall the jacket is really nicely sculpted, and let's check the shoulder joints out while we're here. These are quite tough. Yeah, but you've got this sort of ball and socket thing going on, ball joint at the arm there. It feels like a ball joint, but it looks more like a ratchet. Actually, it's a ratchet joint. It's not a ball joint. But yeah, you've got a full 360 range of motion in there. His arms will come out to 90 degrees at the side, like that. The elbow is not so much play there, probably about 45 degrees of bend in the elbow. But overall, yeah, a decent range of motion. And the sleeves on this jacket have got that same level of sculpt and paint application. Really, really nice, and sort of creating that leather effect around the back here. The zips are sculpted in and opened up as they were in the film. Once again, more bullet holes around the back and more silver detailing, and that's pretty much continued throughout the jacket. Underneath, you have got the grey t-shirt, the dark grey t-shirt. And that's sculpted pretty well, although this bandolier is now in the way. You can see that they've sculpted in creases across there, they've sculpted in the collar. Overall, the colour is pretty screen accurate as far as I am aware. Let's check the articulation at the waist here. There's not much going on at the waist. Not an awful lot of movement at the waist. A little bit, but not an awful lot. And although there is a joint in this section of the body, as you can see, if I lift this jacket up, there is it looks like it's attached to. There are two separate segments going on there. There's not a huge amount of movement, if anything at all, above that first section of the waist. So perhaps not the best articulation in the upper body, but it's pretty good, shall we say. These are the two hands that we talked about when we're down on the accessory section. They're a medium to soft, these hands, so they pretty much won't be requiring hairdryer or hot water when you're gripping any of the accessories. And as I mentioned when we were looking at the accessory section, hands are pretty much designed for all the accessories. The grenade launcher and the handgun will fit into the right hand, and this left hand is specifically designed for gripping the top of the minigun. So yeah, there you have it. That's the hands. So let's drop him down into the gap here and take a look at the most important thing, the head sculpt. And I think that is a very, very good likeness of Arnie. I think Neca have done an excellent job. I think the hair is very good. The hairstyle is right. The skin tones are perhaps not the best I've seen on a Neca figure, but they're still pretty good. Overall, the furrows in the eyebrows are there, and yeah, unmistakably Arnie from Terminator 2. And then we have the major problem that I have with this figure, and I'm going to take his glasses off, and yeah, then you have that. Now, where to begin? Well, there's not that much to say other than the fact that those eyes are completely wrong. They're way too beady. That's just completely off, and they turn the head sculpt into something almost cartoony. And it's a real shame, because with those glasses on, I think you've got a really effective head sculpt there. You've got a really effective head sculpt of Arnie as a T800, but take those glasses off and you are in a world of hurt. You've got this, and I have to say, it's not Neca's finest hour, unfortunately. They missed the eyes by a country mile. They really did. And it's a shame, because the rest of the figure, I mean, if you actually look at the detailing here, the furrows in the eyebrows and the way the eyes have been painted, and the paint applications, they're not the best, but they are most certainly not the worst I've ever seen. And there was potential here for a really, really good head sculpt that just went awry when they got to the eyes, unfortunately. So yeah, it's going to be reflected in the score for this figure, unfortunately, because the rest of it, and it's a real shame, the rest of it is absolutely excellent in my opinion. Let's see if we can't get him to freestand so we can go in for final thoughts on this guy. I might have to let's just put that that stand to one side, because I know this guy will freestand, so talk amongst yourselves while I foots him. So I don't want to try and get him back onto that stand with one hand. That will end in tears. But let's see if we can't get him to stand up on his own. It's an exceptionally heavy figure simply because of the size of this guy. I think we're going to have to go back to the stand. Yep. Let me put this stand back on him, the good thing about this is it will actually slot underneath that leather jacket if you take some time futzing it, but I'm not going to do that for the purposes of this review. I'm going to get him straight back on the stand and then alter the camera so we can take a look at him. Right, let's get him back on that stand. That's mission 1 accomplished. Let's get him spinning again, not at that ridiculous speed. And let's just angle this camera up so we can pull back a little bit and, as I say, go in for final thoughts on this guy. Yeah, where to begin? I'm gonna straight away, I think the sculpt is very, very good. I think the screen accuracy is there with the outfit, with the proportions. And most certainly, they've caught they've caught that outfit, that leather biker suit, really, really well. Sculpt on the boots is good. Paint applications are good. Accessories are absolutely excellent. I love the work they've done on that minigun. Yeah, overall, I think it's a very, very good package. And as I mentioned before, you've got to remember that that we're working to a price point here. And it's a big but. It's that head sculpt. Let's just stop him from spinning here. Just going to bring him right up as close as I can as close as I can relative to this shot. Get him looking down, and I can demonstrate here the difference putting these glasses on makes. So you're looking at that head sculpt and you're thinking, wow, or at least I was, wow, that's appalling when I first got it out of the box. And then I whacked the glasses on and thought, hang on a second, this is actually this is making a world of difference. So yeah, let's get those glasses on correctly. Now they're stuck. There we go. Put those into place, and that is the difference it makes. It turns it from a car crash into a very, very good figure just by the application of those sunglasses. So yeah, there you have it. So final thoughts and score. Excellent figure. Body, sculpting, paint applications, accessories let down by a train wreck of a head sculpt, unfortunately. Well, the eyes are a train wreck, let's put it that way. So, score out of 10 overall. That's a difficult one on this one, and it's always difficult scoring these figures when you've got a really good body and really good accessories, and the screen accuracy is there, and it's let down by one aspect of the head sculpt. So I'm going to have to go with a 7.5 on a good day, unfortunately. Had they got those eyes right, would have been a 9, I think. Well, we may, yeah, an 8 or a 9 easily. But unfortunately, no. We're gonna go 7.5 on this one. It's a shame. It's a real shame, because what you do have here is the groundwork for something really special. But unfortunately, the ball was dropped. So there you have it. That's Neca's quarter scale take on Big Arnie from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. What are your thoughts on this piece? Is it something you have in your collection? What are your thoughts on Neca? What are your thoughts on the movie? Drop a comment in the comment section below. Nothing is off menu, and I'd be fascinated to hear your opinion and your take on this particular piece. So about wraps it up for this review. I hope you've enjoyed it. What we've got coming up on the channel, I'm not going to go into every single figure, but we have quarter scale action figures, we have 6 scale action figures, we've got stuff from InArt, Pure Arts, Hot Toys, Premier Toys, Susu Toys, Present Toys, the list goes on. So please, as I mentioned at the top there, mash that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're not missing any of the good stuff that's coming up. And I suppose that all that remains for me to say is a massive thank you for watching. From myself, from Big Arnie, take care of yourselves, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.